من نیز پیام انقلاب شما ملت ایران را شنیدم.
The disgraced ex-president of Tunisia, Zine El Abidine Ben Ali.
طلبت من الحكومة التقدم باستقالتها اليوم.
There must be reform, political, social, and economic reforms that meet the aspirations of the Egyptian people.
به خاطر این نوکری پاداشم ندادن. امروزم به او پاداش نمیدن.
For the fifth consecutive day, Egyptians took to the streets of Cairo, Egypt. Their first target of the day, the Ministry of Interior, as the demonstrators approached.
Shooting people at close range.
The police opened fire. And while there were dozens of casualties, there were also those who were shot to death.
Right now, 3 people dead. Not the army. Army don't want to help us, but the interior police already killing us. Right now, there are 3 people dead.
Despite the violence from the police, it did not stop tens of thousands from converging on Tahrir Square, known in Arabic as Liberation Square. Here, the people refused to leave unless the president resigned immediately.
This is the revolution of the Egyptian people, the true Egyptian people. We won't leave here until he goes out.
Despite the government-run news stations reporting looting throughout the city, the demonstrators here were peaceful. They were mothers, fathers, the unemployed of all ages, and students. Their demands to overthrow the government and initiate a new wave of change throughout the most populated country in the Middle East. Since the 28th of January, the army moved into Tahrir Square, replacing the police. The Egyptian people felt a sense of calm with the army surrounding them, but still their demands were the same: the removal of President Mubarak and his regime. Reports started to funnel into the TV networks. Mubarak had chosen Omar Suleiman, the head of the intelligence agency, as his vice president, but the Egyptian people here refused to accept it. The military presence has intensified in Cairo, but it means nothing to the Egyptian people. The popular rebellion rages on. This is Shobra, one of the industrial districts in Cairo, home to 5 million Egyptians. There's lots of support here for the Muslim Brotherhood. This protest behind me began following the afternoon prayers. Everyone here is headed to Tahrir Square.
America, stop! We know he's finished. No Israel, no America, no more. That's it.
We don't want a government that follows Israeli and U.S. orders. We don't want that.
This so-called government should leave. Enough is enough.
We are not stupid. We know him. The old gang. We are not going to accept Omar Suleiman, Ahmed Shafiq, anybody from this party. That's it.
The battle for the streets of Cairo is over. The Egyptian capital braced for the largest demonstration in the country's modern history. It was known as the March of Millions. There were Christians and Muslims, workers and business people, rich and poor, the youth, unemployed, also women and children.
I can't hear any calls for extremist Islamists or Copts or anything of that sort. I'm hearing people say we are Egyptians and we want freedom. We want to be able to pick our government. We want to be able to pick our parliament. We want to be able to be heard.
This is truly an iconic moment for Egyptian people. This right here is where the military came in for the 1952 revolution to liberate Egypt of foreign forces. Now, through people power, the Egyptian people have taken on this square to have their own revolution. The battle for control of Cairo raged on into the early hours of the morning. Mubarak thugs continued the violence against protesters. Shots rang out as protesters were shot and stabbed to death. These are the men responsible for the bloody violence. Their fellow countrymen, fighting against the Mubarak regime, used rocks and makeshift weapons to defend themselves, their country, and their revolution. All movement on the ground for journalists and foreigners came to a complete halt. The strategic point of the revolution's command in Tahrir Square has been secured by protesters. Still they vow death over Mubarak.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا لك الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
امروز هم هر ساعتی که از مصر او فرار کنه و خارج بشه، با امید خدا مطمئن باشه که اولین دروازه‌ای که به روی او بسته خواهد بود دروازه‌های آمریکاست. راهش نمیدن.